howdy, and welcome all to the Big and Bright Podcast. My name is Nick. This here next to me is James.
Howdy.
Lots and lots of things happening in the world. We've got
almost too much, Nick.
Well, entirely too much. Entirely too many things happening in the world. Things that we need to address that we're not going to have time to get to. We've got a couple of pretty major stories, especially from the Texas front, that we're going to look at today. But it's worth acknowledging a couple of things. Most importantly, that our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of those who were killed in the completely unnecessary slaughter of Americans and Afghanistans at the Kabul airport. Our prayers go out to them, and we pray for a speedy return home for all of those who are involved, and just know that we're with you here in the home front. That is
Could not agree more.
Yeah, that's more of a national thing, but
it affects everybody because there's so many veterans in so many different places who are losing their family members, or losing their fellow soldiers, losing their people who they worked with. It's terrible.
Yeah, and you can't not talk about it. It's not something you can't just not bring up. And there's a lot that goes to that, like the fact that we have a fake president, and the fact that whether we should have gotten out of Afghanistan. All of those are national topics, so we just want to leave it at that. We want to make sure that you hear that from us, from the Big and Bright Podcast, and that comes from the deepest parts of us, and so we genuinely mean that. But we do have to move on to some other things that do affect us on a state level here in Texas, and they often also extend into the national area, right? It's sort of a perspective thing. But we got a lot of crazy stuff going on. First and foremost, the Pfizer vaccine has been FDA approved.
Oh,
Woo!
Thank you, God.
Woo!
Thank you.
Throw the party.
I've been waiting on this so long.
Oh my gosh. We need to have Hayden put in some like celebration music there. That'd be awesome.
Maybe.
Hayden, can we get a confetti effect?
Maybe.
Hayden's not here. Our producer isn't here. That's right.
He left us alone with his equipment.
I know. It's a very cat's away situation, but we're going to let it go. The reality here is, guys, that this has a lot of implications beyond just the commentary of your crazy cat-loving aunt and her opinion on the vaccines. This actually leads to a better case, or I guess a more compelling reason from a government perspective to actually start mandating the vaccine.
Correct.
Now, what is the nature of? So James actually knows a lot more about this than I do, which is weird because I have closer relationships with healthcare people. But he knows a lot more about this than I do. What is the nature of this approval, and what is the nature of this vaccine?
All right. So there's a lot of stuff here, Nick, like I said, and a lot of it's really technical, and I'm not going to expect people to know this. And I read way too much stuff in here, so I try to boil it down to make it easy to digest.
Yep.
Basically, only Pfizer, not the other two, just Pfizer was approved by the FDA. Not a temporary emergency approval, which the other two still are. Mm-hmm. This one is actually approved fully. There's no emergency attached to it or anything. It has been approved for children 12 years old and up, obviously, to whenever you die. Mm-hmm. It's an mRNA vaccine that is used by the body to mimic one of the proteins in the virus that causes the Rona. This result of a person receiving the vaccine is that their immune system will ultimately react defensively to the virus that causes the Rona. Okay? This is only present in the body for a short time, as most vaccines are, and is not incorporated into, nor does it alter an individual's genetic material.
That's not true.
What?
That's not what my uncle said. My uncle said the vaccine is micro nanobots that actually go in and like pick apart your DNA and put things back together like Jurassic Park movies.
Was he wearing a tinfoil hat?
That's irrelevant. That's what he said.
All right, fair.
It creates spike proteins. Spike proteins. Did you know that if you're within proximity of someone who has spike proteins, you can give them the spike proteins and they could die?
They could spike you with it?
Yeah, they could spike you with their spike proteins. This shows exactly how much I know about
exactly, yeah. This is according, by the way, FDA Gov. Yours is according to your uncle, which totally is legit. This is an ongoing clinical trial of thousands of individuals, so don't worry. We're just examining you as we go. This is fine.
Stop. That's creepy. That's so. Isn't this creepy? And I understand that this came out of we were all terrified, right? When COVID-19 happened, and I'm not one of these people that say, "Oh, COVID-19, right? The numbers are inflated." They were, but that's not what I'm saying, right? I'm saying
check New York, by the way.
There was, the numbers were deflated in New York.
Yeah,
but there was genuine reason for concern, right? The COVID-19 pandemic was not nothing. But now we're at this place where we're just doing we're all the lab mice.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that's creepy. That I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Anyway,
to be fair though, a lot of vaccines actually do that. Especially a lot of drugs and everything else. They kind of do that. It's we'll throw it out there. We've done a test for a little limited people. Let's see how the masses take it. And kind of just rip and roar as they go.
It's a chuck and pray.
Yeah. Again, according to the FDA website. This is 91% effective in preventing the COVID-19 disease. Explain that to Abbott.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you did a lot of the research on this particular piece. Is that specifically what it said? It's 91% in preventing it.
Yeah, it's on the FDA site. We'll provide you the site, so I'm not making this up.
Yeah, I believe
they may be making it up, but I'm not making this up.
I don't know. You would say FDA citation needed, but who's the FDA going to cite? They're the FDA, right? But
see what we said yesterday.
Yeah, well, which is also kind of creepy. But here, that's not true. I mean, people are getting COVID-19 now. I will say
breakthrough cases. If you get the Rona after having the shot, by the way, they qualify you have to have the shot for 2 weeks. So we never said anything about that.
Yeah.
Until now.
Well, breakthrough cases, and I'm not entirely sure about the data on this, but just anecdotally. I know at least 5 people that have had breakthrough cases of Rona. Now, most of them were completely inconsequential and were almost asymptomatic, but have tested positive for the coronavirus after getting the vaccine. The vaccine is effective, but it's effective in keeping you out of the hospital and keeping you from dying. It's not. I wouldn't say it's 91% effective. And again, completely anecdotal. Have no actual data to back this up.
Yeah.
I would be curious to see those numbers revisited.
But a regular person seeing that is then why are we talking about the unvaccinated and the vaccinated if it really doesn't matter? But guess it does matter. But here's the weird thing. When I saw that, I was the same thing. I was like, light bulb, hold on. So let me go to the CDC website, which, by the way, also cites themselves.
Yeah.
The CDC website explains the breakthrough cases, and they have questions and answers, and they provide a good quality, hey, here's the frequently asked question, here's kind of our general answer. And again, just like anything comes to law, there's a general answer, and then of course there's sometimes exceptions. However, what their general rule is, if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated and live and work in an area with substantial or high transmission of Rona, you, as well as your family and community, will be better protected if you wear a mask when you are in indoor public places. What kind of mask? They don't describe that, even though we all know that those cloth masks don't really work, according to Biden's ex-CDC person. But anyways.
That is so well worded, though, because you might as well say, I'm in this indestructible tank, right? I have this indestructible tank. And then someone says, yeah, but if you took this cardboard piece and put it right here, you would have more protection. And that's not untrue. There would be more protection in the sense that there would be more mass. But that, to me, is what you're talking about. When you say, if you get more protected if you wear a mask if you're vaccinated, I'm like, yeah, but you're already in the tank. Right? You've already got this.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they say, well, vaccinated or unvaccinated is so they're the same. Then what's the point of getting the vaccine?
The point of getting the vaccine is so you don't die. I mean, the point of getting the vaccine is to prevent the severity of the cases.
Or to prevent COVID-19 disease, 91%.
Again, I don't think that's true.
That's according to them.
Here's the thing,
I'm not making these stats up.
I think they might be lying. I don't know.
No, they'll correct themselves tomorrow and just delete what they had yesterday. Don't worry about those Wayback Machines that can actually
Memory
archive.
hole. Okay.
Well,
keep going.
According to the FDA, they have determined that the data demonstrates increased risks, particularly within 7 days following the second dose. So it's not from risks of getting it, it's risk of reacting to the second dose. And I've known people who've gotten the second dose and it kind of puts them on their butt for a day or two, sometimes a little longer, but it's just it's a stronger one, I guess. That's why. And they say that's why it's just a little stronger dose because it's kind of completing the whole regimen. Among those that are higher risk are males under the age of 40 compared to females and older males. So we're screwed.
Yeah. That's if we get vaccinated. Well, I don't know if we're screwed.
I identify as vaccinated, so I am vaccinated.
Is this just talking about how bad your tummy hurts immediately after getting the vaccine, or is this talking about things like myocarditis, like long-term effects?
Great question, Nick.
That is a good question.
The risk is actually highest in males 12 through 17 years of age.
Of myocarditis? Of long-term effects?
They don't explain that part.
What is the risk of what? When did they explain?
Maybe tummy hurting.
Link in the description. You can read it for yourself, right?
That's
That's when they say, "Oh, the risks are high." Wait, risk
Define
of what?
risk.
No, it's not important.
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about risks of what.
Sorry, teenagers, you'll be the test subjects. Apparently, get the vax. We'll see what happens.
No, don't. By all means, don't get the vaccine.
Wait, whoa! Get the vax.
I want you to hear this directly from me, guys, right? Because I've been accused of saying anti-vax things, and I've accused of being anti-vax. I want you to hear this from me. If you're a teenager, you're an idiot if you get the vaccine. You
don't need it?
You don't need it.
Why?
Because teenagers are not dying from coronavirus, and they're not being hospitalized from coronavirus. Well, we could
get
get
those ICUs, Nick?
We could get the Delta variant. Yes, you could get the Delta variant, but the Delta variant is also not killing people under the age of 20.
Side note: there's also a Lambda variant that's been out there. It's from Peru.
Yeah,
and it seems to not be affected by the vaccine.
Well.
But let's not worry about that.
Again, as far as transmission or as far as the severity of cases? Or both?
It sees the vaccine and goes, nice try, bro. I'm coming in anyways.
I mean, this is what happens with viruses. Like, this is why you have to have a new flu shot every year.
Yeah.
Right? The variants happen all the time. We're going to have what was it called? We're going to have social row of fraternity row of vaccines. We're going to have the Phi Beta Kappa vaccine, the Delta vaccine, the Sigma Pi Epsilon vaccine, right? The French banana vaccine. I don't know, whatever.
French banana.
I'm just,
sounds good.
The Europeans get weird with their social clubs. Yeah.
Is that a banana in a croissant?
It is.
All right, sounds great. Well, this data is available from short-term follow-ups. So they suggest that most individuals have a resolution of symptoms. However, some individuals require intensive care support. So at least they put that in there that sometimes it's going to be a little harsher than being out for a day or two.
Was this in the article that the FDA put out approving the vaccine?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, at least to be fair, and I don't like them at all, but to be fair, they at least put that in there. They could have said, like, see link for other stuff because we're not going to put that in our announcements.
This might give you cancer. FDA stamp of approval.
However, information is not yet available about potential long-term health outcomes. Why? Because we don't have the ability to see the future.
We've had 6 months. We've had 6 months of this rollout. And that's, I was talking to someone that you and I both know who work in healthcare a while ago. And she was talking about, kind of saying, hey, giving me some compelling evidence as to why I should get the vaccine. She was talking about a lot of the people that she treats and that sort of thing. And it is heartbreaking, right, when you have to treat people who die of COVID-19. So I definitely feel for you there. But my response to her was, I'm not in danger of dying from COVID-19. I don't feel like I am. I don't know what could happen if I get the vaccine. And we've had 6 months. Yeah. Can you give me just a little more time? Like, can I have a little more than 6 months to see what the possible long-term side effects might be?
No, it's been approved.
I don't care.
Shut your mouth, Nick, and get the vaccine.
I don't care. I'm going to say this right now. For those of you who think I'm anti-vax, I don't care if the FDA approves it. I don't want it.
Well, to be fair, they added the little label to it saying, hey, by the way, this stuff happened. They added it kind of slyly, but in this announcement, they're like, oh, yeah, this is kind of here at the bottom of the article. Like, yeah, okay, this is it. Put it in the box.
Always read the bottom of the article first.
Yeah, basically.
You should do it like you eat a pizza. Just take it, eat the crust first, and then go to the top.
Right. But that's the basics of the Pfizer vaccine.
Okay. Which is now being approved by the FDA.
It is now approved.
And let's talk about the political ramifications of this.
There always is politics. As much as don't politicize it. Guess what? Everybody
the politics of this is you've taken away an excuse of those who don't want to be vaccinated. Mm-hmm. Now I put excuse in air quotes for a specific reason. I've never cited the FDA approval as my reason for not wanting to get the vaccine. Correct. That's never been an issue for me.
Check the videos. We never did it.
I don't want to get the vaccine because I don't want to get the vaccine. And that's the end of it, right? I mean, really, I do have certain reasons, and
Screw your freedom.
I could go into a big long discussion as to what exactly those reasons are. None of them have to do with whether the FDA approves something. As far as I'm concerned, the FDA's approval on something and $1.50 will get you a cup of coffee. There's nothing to this to me, because I've seen the FDA do some good things. I mean, the FDA gave us Tylenol, right? And that's fairly good. But I've also seen the fact that the FDA is not always. I mean, most of the time they're effective in what they approve, but not always.
I mean, I don't know if they're batting 1,000.
Well, I mean, you're not batting 1,000, but it's not like the FDA's got a massive track record of putting out bad drugs.
Really?
No, I mean, like I said, you got Advil, Tylenol, erythromycin, what's it called, diphenhydramine. All these things have FDA approval.
Yeah, but I mean, we have an article right here, CNN and LA Times, saying that between 2001 and 2010, you got a 1/3 shot that everything is actually A-OK. About a third of them had to be taken off. Not taken off.
Hold on. That article cites what, three things that had to be taken off? It's not. I mean, it's like there's a handful of withdrawals.
FDA is not doing great.
There's a handful of withdrawals. You can cite whatever you want, but you're gonna have to hit something. You're gonna have to hit me pretty hard to convince me that.
Don't worry. According to MSN, ProPublica, MD Linux, and prescriptiondrugs.procon.org. Are you ready for this, Nick?
Sure, hit me.
Bextra, Siler, Direct, Ergomasol, Vioxx, Accutane, Meridia, Celadine, Resolin, Raptiva, Nismazoid, Euchloric, Folletin, Thiolamide. I'm not done, Nick. Zelnorm, Tisabri, Nutraspect, Permax, Baycol, Paladone, Proproxaphene, DES, Duract, Hismanol, Litronex. And that's just to name a few.
Just a few, huh?
Just a few.
I
actually cut it off.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
You made your point. Hey,
I'm gonna keep scrolling.
No, you won't. Stop. I surrender. You made your point.
All right. Just saying. They're definitely not batting 1,000.
They're certainly not batting 1,000. And like I said, the FDA has provided some good things. But and we could have
their approval means jack.
Their approval means jack. I mean, and I feel that way. And like I said, we could have an entire episode. We probably won't because it doesn't have anything to do with Texas. But we could have an entire episode about what the FDA and the EPA and the
don't
the
even
CDC,
get me started on the EPA.
Yeah, what all of these people say you should do this, and I just go, I don't care. I'm sorry, I didn't elect you. But anyway, so what does this mean for Texas though? Because I feel like Abbott.
Going too national?
Was that?
We're going too national?
No, not that we're going too national. I mean, it's a national setup, but I feel like Abbott, being a potential candidate for 2024, just saying, is probably going to publicly tell the FDA to go pound sand on this one. Not the FDA, but the political people around him that say, now you're being unreasonable because it's FDA approved.
You're in luck, Nick.
Am I in luck?
According to AP News,
I find myself often in luck. Go ahead.
Abbott's issued an executive order, another executive order, on Wednesday, banning any state or local mandates requiring people to be vaccinated against the Rona, and he called on Texas legislators to vote it in during their current special session, which has so much time left.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had an actual executive order, by the way, for those who didn't know.
Do the EOs have to be approved by Congress in special session?
No, they're his.
Okay, so why does he need a special session?
Because if he leaves governorship or after a certain period of time, they could just like overturn it.
Oh, okay.
Because he is not God.
So he wants them to make it into law, right?
Basically.
The EO make it into law.
He had an EO.
Yeah.
He had basically said the exact same thing, but it was because it was under temporary approval.
Okay.
Well, this kind of put a little snag in it because one of them's no longer temporary.
Yeah.
So he goes, all right, Control F, delete, reissue, different one, totes different.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's actually good that he's at least trying to get it passed as law, right? So
instead of just dictating.
Yeah, he's not doing he's not doing what other potential presidents of the United States, Joe Biden, have been doing with 32 EOs.
Did you say something there?
I sneezed.
Just sneezed? Oh,
right?
Maybe you got the Rona.
I sneezed and incompetence came out. Anyway, we have a we have a situation here where I'm kind of conflicted because I don't like EOs, but I think
Not a fan either.
I think this is about regulation. This is about enforcement, right? You're basically banning, you are enforcing it on your, on the cities and the counties and all that kind of stuff, right? But you're basically saying this cannot be enforced in this way.
The worry is that the government agencies, especially in Austin, will start enforcing this upon them, saying like, hey, because you're working for us, you're going to do this, and if you don't, we'll fire you. I think there's been some that said, or you can just work remotely. If you choose not to, then you're fired. And currently right now, there's not a lot of arguments helping you with that.
The idea of government employees, I think, is he's got a case there, right? Because he's the head chief, he's the chief executive of the state. Government. It would be like the CEO of a company saying, you're not going to do this, right? So for government employees, I think he's good. If you're going to make, and I know DeSantis is doing this in Florida, I think Abbott's going to try it here in Texas. You're getting into a little bit more complex territory when you start talking about companies, right? And private entities.
Because the whole conservative thing is like, I thought you said let private businesses do what they want.
Yeah.
But they operate in Texas under Texas law.
You could put that somewhere under employment law, right? Of somebody basically being sued for wrongful termination if they refuse to get vaccinated and they get fired. There is some lane, I think, that you could go through to get that done. And it would be legal. Would it be ethical? I don't know. I don't think it's ethical for anybody to challenge somebody's livelihood by saying you must put a chemical in your body if you're going to keep working here. I don't think that's ethical. I think if you do that, you're a huge...
nice. We be nice.
You're a huge person. You're I don't know. You know what I mean, right? I'm not fond of people who do that.
There
we
go. See, was that so hard?
It really was, but. It's also you have to kind of look at it and say, okay, what constitutes a private entity, and what power can one person voluntarily wield?
Are you receiving money from the state?
Yeah, that's another big one. Are you receiving money from the state? My thing is this: there's this concept that all companies are just going to start mandating vaccines.
Yeah,
I don't think that's true. I think a lot of major ones will. And you're going to see some shift. You're going to see a lot of people that are going to get really disgruntled. I think you're going to see enough backlash on this that there will be certain companies that are going to say, listen, you can work here vaccinated or unvaccinated. And just for the sake of getting those employees that are going to be leaving the other companies, I think you'll start to see the market work here is basically what
that's my take too. If companies, especially the bigger ones, start saying you have to do blank, well, all you're doing now is forcing innovation, which is good because now, guess what? We don't need you anymore.
Yep.
I mean, Sears thought they were forever.
Yep.
And what happened? They got crappy customer service. They got too fat on their own stuff. And then Amazon steps in and goes, yeah, we're actually really good at customer service. Our return system is amazing. You buy whatever you want from Amazon. And Sears being the biggest one, but a lot of other chain stores had to close a crap ton because effectively they got replaced by Amazon, who can do it more efficiently, quickly, and cheaper.
I was watching a movie with my sister who is 10 years younger than me, right? She's 10 years younger than me. We were watching The Shawshank Redemption. And there's a line in the Shawshank Redemption where he says, I was a regular Sears and Roebuck. Yeah. And my sister, who's 10 years younger than me, goes, what the hell is Sears and Roebuck? And I feel so old. Anyway.
If she doesn't know about Sears, she's too young for you, bro.
Yeah. Well, she's my sister also. There's that. So.
Well.
Not on this show, James. Anyway. Let's go ahead and move on. What this means for us is that we could potentially see some pressure coming from the federal level.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to hope and pray that our governor is going to stand firm. I think he will. I think he's going to kind of draw a line in the sand there and say, I'm simply not going to do that. And you can't make me. And so there's a lot that goes into this. I think we're fine here in Texas, to be honest with you. I think this is going to remain a haven for those who want to preserve their freedom.
As a reminder, social media is not real life.
Yeah.
So no matter how big the name is saying this, whatever argument for this, and however many likes and shares they get, it does not matter. Mm-hmm. Because as we've seen with multiple political candidates, they are hugely popular on social media and then somehow still lose because those do not generate votes.
Yep.
So as well thought out of an argument as others may make, I agree with you, Nick. I can't believe I'm saying that Texas likely will not mandate this and will not allow it to be mandated. However, I'm also with you when it comes to private businesses, that gets a lot murkier because you tell me what I can and can't do is kind of the conservative argument saying, well, I thought I was supposed to lift up the middle finger and you were going to cheer me on.
Yeah.
But now it's different.
But
then again, arguments when they're shallow are easy to see through, making them not good. So you can't have a bumper sticker for one phrase and say it has to stay that bumper sticker. And if you change, well, then you're mixed signals or whatever.
And I'll say it like this. This is how I'm going to choose to say it.
Okay.
If you are an employer who is choosing to force your employees by dint of their employment to get vaccinated, you're an apprentice human being. You're essentially a human being in training. That's the most creative insult I can come up with without just saying what I really want to say. Up here, man, it's all darkness. Anyway.
Trust me, during the pre-show, I had to say, you can't say that, can't say that. He was like, well, I have a sentence. That's all you can say, Nick.
Anyway, any further stuff on this FDA before we move on?
No, I think we hit enough. I mean, I definitely proved you wrong. The FDA definitely is not batting 1,000. So we'll see how this goes. All right. Who wants to be the lab rat? Poke.
Don't know, man. Get the jab. Get those magnets on your arm. It'll be great. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the more specific of Texas, which is that we have just passed in the House our voter registration bill.
Woo! Confetti.
We need that confetti. All right. Oh, okay. It'll be awesome if Hayden actually does put the confetti in.
If not, we look really stupid.
We will look really dumb. Hayden,
I'm cool with that.
Help us out. Hayden, who isn't here, help us out, or we're going to steal all of your equipment.
House passed the voter registration bill, unless you're a Democrat or the nonpartisan Texas Tribune, the voter suppression bill.
That is some of the worst use of political rhetoric. The most egregious use of political rhetoric I've seen in a very long time.
A little peek behind the curtain for us. This happened today.
Yeah.
When this gets released, it'll be a few days.
Yeah.
When I sent this to Nick, he sent me a text, which I will not read, back and said,
wise.
Basically, that's dumb. I'm heavily editing your notes right now.
Yep.
Basically, he's like, that's the stupidest article headline you could put. And then at the bottom, it says nonpartisan. I call BS, and I go, I'm with you.
No, yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, when you're calling it a voter suppression bill,
I haven't imagined. I think I know what side you're on.
Yeah, it's a bill to protect against voter fraud first and foremost. Now, a lot of people don't like to hear the term voter suppression, which is why they call it a voter suppression bill, because a lot of people
clicks.
Makes them feel yucky in their tum when they hear the words voter suppression. I'm going to say something rather controversial. I'm totally fine with voter suppression. I think voter suppression is a good thing. I think there should be vastly fewer people that vote in this country than actually do.
You racist.
I want to go back to property owners. That's what I want.
Property owners 21 years old?
Property owners 21 years old. Exactly. Property owner. I'll even compromise. I'll say, I'll say property owners or parents, right? Because you gotta have some skin in the game, in my opinion, if you're going to vote. And again, it has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with sex, because there are plenty of females with their names on deeds, and there's plenty of black people and Mexicans and all sorts of different people that have their names on deeds. That's what I want.
That even includes gay Americans too.
That's true.
Like if you're married, you're married.
Either that or some sort of civics test, right? You'll have to prove that you're worthy of voting.
Be careful there.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Now you're getting to the whole thing that got overturned for
that's true. Yeah. Who? Then you have to get into who writes the civics test, right? But
this is a reading test. If you pass this reading test with 100%, you can totally vote.
A civics test written by me. Right.
Oh,
you'll have to pass my civics test and then complete some sort of physical thing like a decathlon, and then you can vote.
I'm just glad it's non-biased.
That's what I think. Anyway,
what the Texas Tribune says is that Texas House slogged through a 12-hour floor debate Thursday before signing off a slightly revised version of the Republican legislation. The House returned Friday to give a final bill approval. This is just in the House. 80-41.
But it's already been approved in the Senate.
No, it has not, because they actually made some amendments.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they made some amendments. This is according to Star Telegram. They even admit this bill is better than the previous attempts, although they still trash it in the rest of their article. There's one amendment that Democrats got included, which calls for voters to include their application, to to include on their applications the identification number they use to register to vote. This was used sometimes because people didn't know if they registered with their social security number or their driver's license, and if they got it wrong, their vote didn't count. So this allows you to say, well, whatever one, because either way, we know it's still you.
Yeah.
And the Republicans allowed this amendment, and since it has changed, the Senate has to approve it. If they approve it, then it goes to Abbott. If they put some amendments, it goes back to the House, and I imagine the Democrats will run tail again.
Yeah.
And they'll never get passed, and then we're doing this all over again.
We'll do it all again. I think, and now I'm going to be very careful. I do not know, and I'm not going to put any money on this, but I think the Democrats are done. I think that they're going to take their L.
A lot of them are still in D.C.
I know a lot of them are still in D.C. But the ones,
what was it? The John Lewis Act.
Yeah.
Got passed in the House. Woohoo! Text me whenever it passed the Senate.
Yeah.
Tell me how you're getting 60.
Good
Good luck.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, that's the other thing is the ones that are still in DC, I'm not worried about them anyway. The ones that came back, I don't think they're gonna up and leave again.
Maybe not.
I think we're gonna keep quorum. I think we're gonna get it done. But that probably is gonna involve calling another special session, which this is getting old. I'm sorry. This is getting frustrating.
Texas is supposed to have a session once every 2 years. We are not like every other state.
Yeah.
Even though I'm liking some of these bills that may be passed, we're here too long. Get out.
Yeah.
Go
I'm sorry.
home.
I'm sick and tired of my government doing stuff. I don't like it when my government does stuff.
With you. Republicans, by the way, if you don't remember, Republicans pitched this idea to secure elections from fraud. Democrats disagree. Super shocked.
Yeah.
They proposed a crap ton of amendments. A lot of them got down. Nope. Yep, we've heard this before. Nope.
I was speaking with my wife. She says, "What's your episode about today?" I said, "We're going to talk about the voter bill." And I said, she says, "What's the voter bill?" It's like it basically puts limits on early voting. It puts limits on mail-in voting. It eliminates drive-through voting.
24-hour voting.
24-hour voting. And she goes, "Then how will Democrats win elections now?"
It's a great question.
Which is the whole point, right? The reason, and
maybe that's why they're mad.
When you're talking
we
about
lose some states that we don't like to lose.
When you're talking
about
counties,
not states.
When you're talking about voting policy, and this is one of the things that I really regret isn't in the Constitution. I don't know how you would have gotten it in the Constitution, but
sneak it in there.
If I can critique the founding fathers for a moment, having regimented constitutional voting practices would be great, because having people debate on the floor of Congress how they get elected to Congress, I understand why that raises some hairs, right? Because
but if you're doing the Constitution, you're kind of federalizing the whole system, then, aren't you?
That's true.
So then Texas couldn't be doing anything they wanted.
If I would say so, when it comes to
that's
votes,
basically the John Lewis Act.
I know, but when it comes to votes, like at the federal level, I would make it very clear. It's like you can vote for your congressman, the Electoral College, and nobody else votes for the president, right? Basically, I would ban all popular votes for the president because I think it's dumb. But that's a whole other topic. And then when it comes to states, I guess states can do their own thing, but I think that Texas should have some sort of saying, no, this is what we do in voting, because that's what this does. It gets weird when you're debating and you're passing policy on how you get to keep your job or not.
Fun fact. You know who gets to vote on the salary of the congressman?
What's that? The Congress. Yeah, the Congress.
I think we did a great job this year. 3%? 3% raise.
Which I'm proud. I'm actually relatively proud of Texas, because for a group of people that vote on their own salary, the salary of a congressperson in Texas is pretty low.
I'm sorry. I did not specify that. That's nationally.
Oh, yeah.
The other way, I'm pretty sure is still done I think it's actually in our Constitution. If we want to change it, they can change it, but then it has to be voted in by us to actually get it in. Because again, we're a federalism state.
Federalism.
But again, back to the Star Tribune. Star Telegram. I'd mixed both of them. This is an opinion article, by the way, so I am just trashing a little bit and having some fun with them. But they even admitted not all were good ideas from the Democrats' amendments, and some were merely attempts to score political points, which it did. And trust me, I operate most of our Twitter. They were definitely scoring political points. Oh, look at me saying this well-thought-out thing. It's like, us a minute and a half. I don't see the rebuttal. Don't worry about that rebuttal. I just delivered an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Representative Wu, I mean, I don't know if he can – I'm surprised he can text more than John Cornyn, because John Cornyn, by the way, our senator, is one of the most Twitter-happy senators.
Cornyn is?
Cornyn, surprisingly.
That shocks me. That shocks me
Dude
utterly.
will be in a committee, just going. And I'm going like, what? Shouldn't he be listening?
Yeah, he doesn't do that much talking. Is the thing. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't ever talk.
No, he
very
leaves
much.
that for Cruz.
But
He's
yeah,
like, no, you're the hot air. I'm just gonna do the hot air on
Cruz.
Twitter.
Cruz does the talking. I do the typing. Let's rock and roll.
Basically.
Yeah, that's weird. That's shocking to me. Anyway,
Yeah. So there's also one. They wanted another one, an amendment, which I don't know. I'm kind of torn between. It's that you can do every other interaction with the government online. Like you can re-register your ID if it's not the second time. The second time you have to go in because the picture has to update. But you can get your car registration. You can submit all your other forms for maybe a hunting and fishing license. You can do a lot of things online.
yeah,
Yet you can't register for voting online. And I'm kind of like, well, I'm kind of with you there, but my little spidey sense says this is the Democrats saying it, so I don't know if something seems up here.
yeah.
So, but and I mean, that could just be my bias. Who knows?
It is your bias. No, it's not your bias. I don't know. It depends on what your opinion is. I can tell you my opinion. My opinion is not only should you not have to go online, should you not be able to go online to register to vote, you shouldn't be able to go online to update your driver's license ID. You shouldn't, any of these things, there should not be an online option for that. You should have to go to a courthouse. You should have to go to at least go to a freaking post office or something.
Yeah, because
right?
that is my issue, though, with the registration for a vote. All you have to do is go to a post office when you move someplace, any post office in where you live, and just say, I live here now. Done.
Yeah.
You have to do it 30 days beforehand, or you get a special waiver saying, like, hey, I just moved here for school, or I'm about to turn 18 just before the day, and that usually those will be approved. It's like, right, dude turns 18 October 31st, presidential elections November, we're gonna have a waiver because we want to make sure you can vote or she can vote. Whatever.
You're telling me that you can't figure out a way, right, with all the money that we're printing right now to have just every any government body has a notary that can take care of an ID change.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is, I'm sorry, I don't think people that are unwilling to leave their house once every 2-3 years when you have to update your ID.
ID is like 6 years.
6 years, right? Once every 6 years.
There's a general rule. Here's the exception. 18 years old, you have to do it for a certain period of time. Once you turn 21, like you get to flip it to the side. If you don't remember, or if you're actually of age, yours is this way. But when you turn 21, it goes this way.
Yep.
If you renew it. If you don't, it could stay this way, and it actually will go past your 21st birthday.
Yeah.
But a lot of people change it that way. They're not getting double checked and having someone who's bad at math going, you're not old enough. You're not getting beer. It's like, oh, dude, it's literally right there. Look at the sign that says, if you're not born between this date, you're not old enough. I'm old enough.
I'm going to pull out a calculator, my friend.
Yeah.
No, I think that
that's what I did. I just said, like, I want to make sure that no one who's bad at math screws me. So, bloop, there we go.
If you are too much of a lazy slob to get out of your bed and go to the DMV or go to some government building
and you can
once every
Saturday,
6 months, in order to get your ID changed or in order to get your address changed or register your car or register to vote, right? If voting is not important enough to you to leave your house to register, you shouldn't be voting.
I'm sorry, it can't be as easy as American Idol.
Yeah, I don't care about your opinion if you're that lazy in your efforts to do it. I just don't. We're not going to be able to vote on Twitter. I'm sorry, that's not how this works.
You know how many people want that?
Yeah, I know, right? Twitter voting, Instagram voting, that kind of stuff.
Click. I'm not thinking about anything.
Sorry.
Click.
You're going to have to go outside and talk to people, right? You're going to have to get a little bit of exercise and move on. Otherwise, I'm not interested in your vote. I'm not interested in what you want to do to influence the way we run our government because you're not a contributing member to society at that point.
Basically not.
Yeah, that's an absolute fact. It has nothing to do with my opinion or anything like that.
Not biased at all, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But it just seems, and I know, I get it, right? The DMV, well, they have really long lines.
Fun fact: we have a DPS.
Oh yeah, Department of Public Safety.
Yeah.
Yep.
But our register tag says Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yep, the Department of Motor
Vehicles. No one auto-corrected that.
For sure. But I get it. I understand government jobs aren't fun, but listen, it's voting, right? It's your civic duty. Go do it, right? Go do it. Otherwise, the world's going to get darker and darker. And the world is getting darker and darker, but we've seen some good things because in Texas, the stars at night
are big and bright.
We'll see you next week.